So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the discussion of the Forming B for Biennial of VARP-PA Residents. Especially those who arrived for this discussion event, because we have two audience members who are visiting the discussion, and the rest are somehow participants of this whole Biennale. My name is Marta Ladjansky. I am from Hungary, and I was responsible to organize this event, which is a private program. It is called Performing V4 Biennial of VARP-PA Residents, which means that at Visegrad Fund there is this special residency program announced for performing artists, and we try to sum up the last 2.5 years activity in this Biennale frame. And today we will spend almost 2 hours with circle discussion, oval discussion. And I asked Hungarian critic writers, there are 5 of them now with us, who were visiting until now all the shows and will continue it also today. And we call it in Hungarian KÖM, which is critical self-educating. Yes, critics self-educating workshop because they are researching and they have between themselves a process what they follow. Plus they are uploading feedbacks and echoes about what they have seen here. So it's well worth to check the blog site of the event because we already have one of this uploaded and it's coming. So I would like to introduce you also to Bálint, who were in touch with you, especially with the leaders of the artists groups, and she was responsible to make interviews with you, like pre-interviews, and now she is leading this discussion with the partners. So I would like to hand her the microphone.
Hi. So, as Marta already said, we are from Hungary and we are critics. We are quite young, but it doesn't really matter in the sense that I think most of the there are very few dance critics around Europe, and especially in Hungary. We don't have any education, any formal education. And we don't really have any literature either to learn from. So this is why we made this workshop a self-educating workshop. We learn from each other, and also we learn a lot from the artists. And this is already the 3rd year of this workshop developing, but actually the first time that we moved out of Hungary and that we moved out of the borders of L1 Dance Fest, because this is our usual event which we accompany. We watch the performances in the evening and we have a workshop in the afternoon. We discuss it. We discuss the performances, and we have also some time to write in the morning and in the afternoon, so we get to watch the performances in the evening again, and this goes on and on and on each day. And this is our main job, but also my task was this time also to make the interviews with you about your shows, to present it, to promote it a little bit. And we had actually very good hits on the blog, on the PV4, the performing PV4 blog, the Vienna blog. So, and you should also check it out, because we're going to upload the reviews and critiques and feedbacks of your performances. And these are already in the making, but we have a very short time table now, so we have to we have to be present as well. So it's going to come in a few days at the latest, but today we are going to upload a few more. And maybe one other thing about us, that well, we have known each other actually from another critiques workshop, but this is where we all also felt that this wasn't enough for us. So we got into contact later, and when Marta asked me to recommend some people who could join the festival and accompany the festival as writers and make documentation about the performances and also give feedback to the artists instantly. And we also made the open discussions after each and every performance. Maybe once there was like one night when we had the smaller shows that we made it together. So these were also very popular, and many people came to listen to the artists, to listen to their version, to listen to their experiences from the creative process, from the research. And it opened up a lot of people, like the audience felt a little bit more comfortable with the artist. The artists were more accessible, and they were actually generally very open. Everybody was hungry for feedback, not just from the critiques, but also from the audience. And we had very nice discussions. And another thing that is actually our main focus right now, that we've been working on, that was to learn to make questions. So, because just to put it short, it's very easy for a critic who feels the pressure to be confident all the time and have statements and to tell right from wrong and to say if a show was good or bad. It's very easy to slip into this attitude of giving answers all the time and not putting questions to not even to the artist, but not even to the work that they've seen. So this is our main focus, and this is what we are working on, to ask questions from the artist while we are watching the plays, and also while we are writing about the performances. So we get maybe a completely different and very new kind of approach, a critical approach, which gives much more space also for the readers to have their own interpretation, to start developing their own techniques of interpretation. Because somehow a critique, a dance critique, always has this assignment to teach the reader how to look at the performance, or just to give hints and give help, but not to tell how the performance was, just to help them to understand it better. And it's also fair enough to admit that we didn't understand something. So this is about us, and please follow the blog so you can see the reviews as well. And as for now, we would like to ask you a little bit about your experiences with the Visegrad VARP-PA program, which helped you and all of us to be here now and have this wonderful Biennale. And we have a few people here who has to leave early because they have still shows on, or have to leave to another town. So first I would like to ask them about their experiences. How did it feel to be in the Biennale, and how did it connect to their residency experience? And the first one is Jan. I'm going to ask you because you had the first performance.
Hi, my name is Jan Barta. We had a performance sticker 2 days ago. Yes, 2 days ago. Yeah. And yeah, for us it was a nice experience, definitely. It was, we had a residency in study Boulevard in Poznań. And yeah, for us, what to say actually, for us it was sort of kick off the project. It was very good for us to leave Prague and to work somewhere outside. And for us it's very good actually that we could play it here in the Biennale. And yeah, now actually the work is very we searching for the way how to actually, it's maybe not nice to say how to sell it actually, or how to shift it further, because we had a contract here in this place for eight evenings, and it actually stopped now. So we now searching for it's quite funny, the light. We're searching now for another venues. So maybe it's better if you have some questions, I mean, the experience is very good. I mean, it's definitely great to have a connection between states, to apply the work somewhere abroad. We didn't do any presentation in your place, but anyway, it was very good. Yeah.
Did you have a question?
No, I was just saying hello to Fatih.
And how was the? Is it working? Yeah. Okay. So during the Biennial, did you have new contact with the artist? Was it? Did you have some kind of good meetings, or just to talk about your experiences? Did you share about your residency experiences?
Yeah, it was a bit. I'm quite busy now, so it was sort of weird timing for me. So I didn't have a really time to have a discussion, so to really talk about the work. So it's pity. So that's why I have to leave now in half an hour. So it's also a bit of a problem. But definitely I would like to hear comments or feedbacks. But we didn't make any discussion after the piece. So maybe that could be also idea.
Are you planning to apply for another residency maybe sometime?
Yeah, definitely. It's more of, I'm working on another piece with Halka, so we get a subsidy, and we definitely searching for another possibility to go for 2 or 3 weeks somewhere. Yeah.
If anybody of you has some questions to Jan about his show and about Halka's show performance, you just feel free to help.
I want to ask about. Oh, okay, yes. So I hate to speak into a microphone. So, excuse me. What? Oh, excuse me. My name is Christoph Farkas. I'm one of I'm a member of the KÖM team. So yes, and I'd like to ask about the script or the score of your show. About are there any improvised situations in it? And if yes, can you talk about it a bit more?
Yeah, it's fixed form, definitely fixed, and we have been working on details a lot, so we used a lot of details. It's inspired by the movies from 50s, and then we do this square thing, and coming into the square and coming out of the square, so playing with this fact of to be in a character and not to be and actually show, to put on the stage everything, actually what is also behind and what is not behind, and put this whole metaphor of relation, actually, what you're showing, what you're not showing, what you're pretending, what you're not pretending. And that was actually the whole skeleton of the whole piece is based on this. And there is a part which is improvised, and that's in the end of that, we call it like emotion battle. That you can be coming in and actually that you show emotion and who is stronger in the emotion. So that sometimes go a bit too far, sometimes it's too long, and sometimes we have some cue things, in the fight, how to fight and how to scream stop and this and don't do this, and yeah. But Halka, we have been working today, and she has all like scars like here and bruises all over the legs, so it was weird actually.
Were you planning to use the fasan, the bird? We were expecting that that you use the bird.
I have a camera just in front of my...
Sorry.
Maybe I should talk to the camera.
You didn't use all the requisites that you had around the carpet. You didn't use everything that you had around the carpet. You didn't use the bird, the dead bird.
No. That was also the aim, to use a sort of how to say, signs of some kind of, like a rests of some kind of relation or picture of the relationship. You know, we had this picture of a bedroom of a couple, and then you just wipe it out, some stuff, and then what stays, it's there. You know, so it's like when you put the picture and you put half of the picture on the stage. That's the bird. Also, there's the small things like this. I don't know how to call it in English. The stuff you can put on the jacket. How do you call it?
Hanger.
Yeah, hanger. But it's also a special name. It's in Czech. It's němý sluha. Ne. Jo? Němý sluha.
Which one's
Yeah, in Hungary it means also a servant.
Yeah, servant is this is the half of the hanger that it stays that you put jacket on.
Maybe a question, microphone. It's just curious because I've seen the piece, I don't know, maybe about a year, 1 year ago, and so how is the piece evolving as you played it? Because when I saw it on Thursday, I could see much more details in the facial expressions and also more pleasure or interaction between you as performers, which I don't have a memory of from the first viewing.
Yeah, definitely it develops. Definitely it was that's why actually it's, yeah, but it's always, if you have material and you have possibility to play it, then you realize how rich it is, you know. So it was very good to play it, and I think in the last 2 or 3 shows we get to the point that we enjoy both of those two sides of us, you know. To be outside and to be inside, and to play what is too much, what is not too much, what is overacting, what is not. And I mean, the first period, it wasn't there. There was ID, but we couldn't get there in a playing.
To say the memory of the first one was more strict and as very polished. Well, 2 days ago, there was much more freedom in the play, also when you were on the carpet, the same as when you were off. So that was a huge difference actually in performing the material.
Yeah, for us it was somehow very fragile, and for me it's very much connected to the fact that we play it more times, you know, that you have skeleton or you have drawing, and you go, you have to keep the drawing, you know, exactly how it is, because otherwise you drop off, you know. So that's why now we have it to the skeleton, we have more inside, and now we enjoy it, you know. So, and also it's the fact that we had a quite problem to finish the piece, and we didn't have anyone from outside, like from the last week. So it's a handicap of the performance. I could still feel it. I still feel it. That you have much more. You are much more careful, because you know there's no like a strong opinion from outside. So you sort of you are more careful.
My name is Zsuzsana Komjati. I'm from Hungary. I'm American too. So I observed that a lot of people around me laughed about the gags and the jokes, or also about the performance. But is it really so funny in your point of of you, or what could be the reason why they were laughing? So, I don't know if you can understand my question. So the main point is that it was not fun for me.
Yeah, I mean, we like, it's very much inspired also by slapstick, old slapstick, but what we personally really like, it's actually, or me personally, what I like to put on the stage and what is funny for me, it's more actually drama. Because that was our aim, to not make a really simple jokes, but to put, yeah, this couple into more ridiculous situations, more to put it a bit to the ridiculous situations. So, yeah, it's very much subjective thing how you perceive humor. You know what is funny. It's very delicate thing. You know what is funny for. It's very different. For me personally, it's very difficult to make a good comedy, and that's sort of our aim with Halka to make a good comedy. It's a hell of a job to make it. You mean, yeah, like there's different in a cultural approach of there's different culture, different humor.
Yeah.
You meant this, yeah, definitely. But it's also like sometimes no one like it's very. First of all, I have to say that it was very good audience here, and it's also very much depending on us, because if you are more strict, what you said, if you are more holding back, there is no laughter at all. The whole piece. So it happened also 2 times, and it's quite difficult to finish it.
You had many small changes in these rituals that you had in these relationship rituals, and also physically, like turning the stage into other directions. But these were actually variations for the very same topic. And we had the feeling that this could really go on and on and on. Could you imagine that something would put an end to something like this, if you didn't have a cue, how would you make it stop?
There was, of course, a very big discussion about this. So we had the option to kill each other, but we didn't want to do it because we thought maybe it's nice to also play it another time. So then we thought that we actually thought to use a sound, which is for us still the upperst layer, you know, and we unfortunately, maybe, I don't know, use this song to put it somewhere like it was for us more as a question mark, you know. It's like for us sound, it's something more higher, you know. So it was more like that you digging a hole and you not succeeding, and you ask someone for help, or you just put it somewhere else, you know. That for us was the song. For a lot of people, it's a kitschy happiness, kitschy like, okay, my God, okay, this song. For us, it was also very difficult to use it, but I'm quite happy that we did it, because it's somehow like that you're fighting for something, and all of a sudden you do a step somewhere else.
Anybody have a question? Or we can let Jan go if he has to go. Yeah. Thank you very much.
First of all, I would like to add that there is wine on the table. Maybe it helps to pronounce the words and whatever freely. So just grab it. Hungarian wine.
So I should more pronounce because you don't understand.
No, you are okay.
Okay.
Just maybe also other participants will participate. So thanks to Zsuzsi. We are sitting in her exhibition, and she was the one who was preparing the wine also for this event. So just grab
Okay,
a glass.
it's not the finest, but it's good enough.
But Hungarian enough.
Yes.
And actually, because now I'm sitting here in 2 different roles. On one hand, we were also resident artists in this program, in the pilot year. And on the other hand, I'm also a monitoring partner with Joanna and with Barbara and Adriana, who is not here now. And as monitoring partners, from the very beginning, we had a discussion about the visibility of the program, if it is important for you or us as artists to travel away. And it would be just nice, as now I was listening to you, I was constantly looking for an answer also on my own question, if it helps to work somewhere else, if I work on a different way, or just the fact that I am in a different area, I have different inputs maybe. So and I ask also from all of you the same question, did it mean any difference to work
Can I say something?
somewhere else?
I will steal this and then I will pass it definitely. No, it's also about what you were saying about the critics. It's very much about the country. Because you have always like a couple of critics, a couple of people who are like the ones who are who have the rights to write something. So also it's very good to actually travel, to go somewhere else that you can meet and discuss. That's definitely also very good. So it's a bit what I feel also coming from Holland to now be in Prague. So you could feel in Holland, in Amsterdam, in the scene, much bigger connection, much bigger communication, and this more, I call it freedom. And I could still feel here that this very much depend on the scene here. That what is it's about rules. There's almost that you can feel those are the rules of that city. Take it or leave it. So it's very inspiring to have such a discussions like this. But it's very much about the critics as well.
Can I tell one more? Just about the humor, because I'm also Hungarian, and I feel Hungarian Czech humor, and if I could say, in Middle East European humor, very parallel between the countries. So for me, these sarcastic but very realistic situations were so funny, but on that way. So in these situations, I feel a bit like I have a choice to laugh or to cry. Then I choose laughing. So and I feel this way of thinking and the way of humor so familiar from home also and from friends. So, and it's congratulations for the piece. It was really good. Thank you.
Well, I think before you misunderstand that we didn't find your piece funny, it was very funny. It was we rather meant it was that serious. So I mean, it was really almost blood flowing on the stage, and it was like in an arena, this carpet. So it was like, you laugh because you instinctively laugh because it's so hilarious and so burlesque and everything is exaggerated. But on the other hand, when you start thinking what are you laughing at, then you really feel intimidated, or you maybe see something that you usually do with your partner, and it's a very uncomfortable experience after a while. So it's like your laugh is fading slowly, or maybe it can fade slowly. And this is why we said it wasn't that funny. Like, I mean, we couldn't laugh that much because it was so serious. That's all. Okay. So I think it was a very interesting question that Marta asked, and we should maybe ask a few other artists too. That how did it feel to be in a completely different environment? But in also, most of you told me in the interview that although it was a foreign city or a foreign artist community, but they were very friendly and you almost felt like home. Many of you said that it was a very friendly and very supportive environment, and not only being abroad, but you also had a very good host organizations. What about you, Tomáš?
Thank you. I am Tomáš Procházka from Handagote Research and Development. We are not going to see our show on this Biennial due to some, I don't know, unfortunate happenings. So we will have some other output tonight, with a little bit of noise and music. And what we did, it was a show called Mission, which we were preparing in 2013, I guess. We went to Banská Štiavnica, Residency in Stanica, the train station. And, well, generally the experience was good, great even, because we were, the environment is not, has no qualities of theater space at all. What they have there is more like workshop, and basically it's prepared for some visual artists to work there, and we took it as a kind of challenge, and it kind of helped us also with the first phase of preparing the show. We were working a lot on the dramaturgy of the piece and also the visual part of it. And for this it was perfect because we had this option to work in the workshop, and we also had the kind of a good and valuable social and artistic contact with our hosts. And so I guess when I thinking about it now, if we would have been in some theater, then probably the process definitely, but also maybe the result would be very different. And so the start, as we started the project there in Banská Štiavnica, I think it really somehow it had a huge impact on what we finally ended up with. So maybe the spirit of the space is in this performance. Well, but I don't know if anybody of you see it. Yes.
I have seen the piece. I'm the lucky one, and actually also Johan and Barbara, because we were looking for what you all did. But how I know Handagote, it's a working group. No, in general, you are a company of good friends first, and you are working always with the same people. So you don't really look outside, but you work as a good team, and you develop the idea after each other. I mean, also now you are preparing a new piece for next week. But here, as I imagine that here in Prague, you have, or not in Prague, but in the Czech, I don't know exactly where is the center of your work, but you have a studio there where you can make the soundtracks and work on music, and then you decided to move out from this possibility. What was the main interest that you started to write the application? And if you have known this host earlier, or it was just by chance that you ended up there?
I don't remember. If we knew them, but I think we certainly were trying to get some information about the place and about the people working there, and then we found out that they are both visual artists, and then we quite like what they do, so it was like the very good sign for us. And so, and in general, like, why is it better, or what's different between working somewhere else and working in some kind of a local environment? I think it's the one part of it is it's isolation, because you move somewhere and then you are there isolated with your friends and colleagues, and then of course it gets like it helps very much with the concentration, because now I felt like all my time is dedicated to the project, like 24 hours a day, because we were talking about it as we were cooking and watching some movies, and everything was like, you know, totally focused on the aesthetics and atmosphere and background of that piece. And we had lots of discussions with our hosts because we found some common aesthetics and very much common ground in general. And they were helping a lot. They were, you know, like providing. We had luck because that we didn't know before that the whole place is located very near scrapyard, which was great for us because then we could just go there and get some junk and work on our objects, which was like a perfect comfort. This would definitely not be happening here, or we don't know what the scrapyards are. And so it was the perfect service because the hosts are like they were introduced us to the guys in the scrapyard, and they were very friendly, and we were allowed to take whatever. So that's, I don't know, what else?
That's actually a very lucky coincidence that you had also the material next door. But what about like dancers who were using the space or a different space that they are used to? How was it for you for you, Stekra, to be in a completely different environment, and how did you explore the space there, and how did you start your work in the residency?
Hello, so I'm the one responsible for this group of people, and we will be performing tonight at 8. I don't know, maybe Pedro also can say, because I don't feel Poland is a very foreign environment for me. I can understand the language, and although I feel like mentality differences, and we were in Łódź, and maybe when you were asking about the partners and stuff, I remember that we had actually a funny story, because when we decided to apply for the residency program, I asked Adris Svetlikova to give me contacts, because with Barbara, we messed up with the whole thing, because we wanted to apply as independent artists, but we are not a group. And I was from Slovakia and my colleague was from Czech Republic. So then they told us, okay, you have to decide, you apply for Czech or for Slovak. That was the first thing. But even before, so we chose some cities in Poland, and I realized actually through the communications that people had no idea what the Visegrad residency was. And I got them from Adri, so I suppose that those people signed up for the thing. So partly I felt also like educating or promoting the Visegrad residency program. And we ended up in Łódź, in a theater called Pinocchio, which is mainly for children performances, which were part of the idea was for the project. But they ended up to be very beautiful hosts. They cleared the whole room for us, so the communication was very nice. And we were there actually at the end of the project, so for the rehearsing period, because we worked on it throughout the year. And September, when we chose to go to Łódź, that was the digesting part of the whole process. Do you have anything to add, Pedro? Sorry, maybe just to put things in place, because Pedro used to live in Prague, so it's not like I'm bringing completely foreign people as well as Chanson.
Hello, everyone. I think I would only add that the context is very interesting as well. Not only the host that welcomes us to his own home, but also the context, the city and the cultural background, as Jan was saying, and that surrounds that host, and that brings very beautiful colors into the work, because it's the crossing of the city that we have to do, it's the place where we live, the cooking that happens, everything that happens, the food that is actually nourishing us and that is available in that country is definitely different from other places. And somehow what I found very interesting in Łódź specifically was that I built an imaginary around that city. So there were places where I thought I was going to see the ocean just at the end of the street, which is absolutely impossible. But there was the quality of the light was so special that made us travel to other places. So this is also interesting about going to a foreign place, is how can I express it in words? But how it's not only the physical place, is also relating with the imaginary place that space brings. So maybe the spirit of the place, as you were saying, it's also something very important, but what it triggers as well, according to each one's experiences, and how it relates to that space, and how all of that can be elements of play in the production of the dance, in the production of an art piece, of an artwork, and then how it can travel actually to different cultures and different places. I found that extremely interesting in this relation. And just maybe to add to also this discussion. And the fact that we are also a very, not complex, but we come from very different backgrounds, all of us. So we have Portugal, Argentina, Turkey, living in Prague, living in France, living in Berlin. So there's a lot of bridges culturally. And basically the element that we are talking about is touch, which is also very different in many cultures, as humor as well. Humor is also a way of touching a culture and how the culture touches back. So I think it makes sense to go to a different culture and explore different things as much as possible. I think it brings only a lot of colors and nourishings to the artistic process and work.
I think. Yes.
No, I just had a thought which happened to me, like the more I travel, actually, the more it helps me to know myself, because I'm in foreign contexts where maybe I lose my reference points, so it's actually rediscovering and making the things fresher every time. And to be honest, it always helps me to change places to create, because like you said, it's a frame of time that you give yourself, and you can really focus on that particular thing.
I'm very sorry, I have to leave. So thank you.
I'm Barbara Urikova from Culture Center Stanica Žilina Záliče, and I just wanted to say that because we also host residents, and we had a residency 2 years ago with Magda Tuka and another artist. And I also want to say that it's maybe the same inspiring also for us, like for a host organization, to have for 2 or 3 weeks some artists in the studio, to spend with them whole days and to communicate with them about the piece, to see how they work. And I think it's a process, and it's how I said, inspiring for both sides, also for us. And also when the piece is created in your space, it's like you can feel like you are part of this piece, and you can stand behind it and to take it also like this is somehow also your piece, or you help them to create it. So I just wanted to add this.
And this is going to be the first time you're going to see the full show, or like not on rehearsal but on stage?
No, they had a premiere in our space.
Premiere. Okay, because Joanna, who is also both resident was resident of the program, and also she is a host as well. She told me that the Biennial is a great chance to meet the artist again. Of course, it's a great opportunity to meet them again, but it is also a first time for her to see the final product of some of the residencies, because because normally the residency doesn't require the artist to make a final product or make a work in progress or make premiere. So this is her first time to see a few of her residents in work or on stage.
Yes.
Yes. Which one of these?
Yeah, as you heard already, I don't know why, but to Poznan people come always to start the project. I have this experience of hosting every year somebody within VARP-PA program, and usually the artists are coming and never do the showing of the work, because we try not to push anybody towards exposing anything if they're not yet really secure or interested in meeting the audience. So I'm absolutely fine with it, and I do understand it completely. But it is indeed a very interesting process. I cannot always follow all the residencies, so it's also nice to just give people space and understand that we are sharing home and same space environment, but also to not invade the process, I would say. It's also important to leave people a time to be on their own, especially when they are on the beginnings and there are more questions and nothing is yet clear. So this is for us very nice. Also from the point of view of being a monitor partner, it's important to host people, because then we really do understand what artists need, and we can hear also their comments, and that way back report to our funding body about what could be a possible improvement or change. So the same as Stanica, I really appreciate the possibility to host, monitor, and then sometimes, if it happens, also go and experience this being on residency on my own skin. This is also very important.
And which are the shows, or which are the artists you are going to see on stage now, who were former residents of you?
Jan was performing. He, as he mentioned, him and Halka came to us already. It was the beginning of the process. Only then, afterwards, they really developed the piece. And two other residents were it was.
Now Laszlo,
who just finished the residency of this year. Yeah, exactly. And there was also another Hungarian artist that actually gave a workshop, and I really appreciate those kind of residencies which are reaching out for local communities also. So the Hungarian artist was creating a special workshop that was actually feeding her research, which is important for her research to confront ideas with other people and make a little laboratory, experimental laboratory to collect material. And that, of course, for a place as dance house as we are, it's super interesting, not only just to host and maybe show some effect, but also to share some practices. But this happened only once so far. So I just maybe should let know artists that we are very happy when proposals as such come out, and always trying to support it also.
If I remember well, Monica, you were in Hungary as a residency, weren't you?
No, we were here.
Okay,
in
you
Prague.
were here in Prague. Can you tell us about your experiences as residents?
My name is Monika Kovalchova, and here around me is my group. We performed yesterday at 6 p.m. in Alta, and Studio Alta was also our residency place. And for us it was really nice and great experience, because they were really helpful. Every time we need some help, some space, and everything, they were really nice. And for me, and I think that also for my group, it was really nice experience, because you can jump out from everyday routine, because when you are on your place, for us it is Slovakia, Banská Bystrica, then you have some everyday things which you have to do, like you have to go to job, you have to do a lot of things. But when you are on the residency, you can really concentrate on your job. You have all the time, you have whole space to do what you want to do. So it was really nice for me, and for us was residency in Alta something like startup. We started to create performance there, and it was really nice experience also because our theater is on wheels. We are moving from place to place. So after this residency, we came back again to the Prague and to continue not in Alta, but in other places. So it was really nice to have it.
Do you want to apply again if you have the chance?
Definitely yes.
Which would be the next country to go?
I don't know. Maybe for me, Poland is really nice, because I think that Slovaks and people from Poland have a really close mentality for me. It is, and really close theater aesthetic. But I'm from the south part of Slovakia. So I understand Hungarian because my grandparents are speaking this language. So for me, is also this culture really close. So we will see.
How about you? Where did you do your residency, and how did it help you in preparing or working on your project? Because you did today a workshop for us about phantomic sensation. That was the title of the workshop. It was really interesting, but basically it is a huge research project. How much of this research and experimental process did the residency cover? How long did it take?
So it was 3 weeks in Budapest, and that was nice because it was not so obviously artistic environment. I think the scene center that we were staying in had a lot of, not so obviously contemporary artistic things were developed there. So it was kind of challenging in the sense that you are not closed in the white cube of some research center, but you actually have to go far and then reach this nice post-communistic building that you know very well the aesthetic of, and work there with what you want to work with. And actually these 3 weeks were really good for us because I'm involved in this more extended research that is mostly theoretical, but there we could really try out the engagement of movement, and maybe want to add some more like very practical, and because we live in different cities, so it was the only way for us to meet. And
yeah, actually that was the only thing that I wanted to add, that we come from actually the same background, kind of very similar background, because we danced in one dance group in Poznan, also connected with Joanna very much. And we created pieces together as amateurs, and then all flied away somehow for our own journeys. And this was one way to come back together and do something together. We living in different countries, because Gaia was living in Brussels at that time, Marisha was living in Berlin, and I lived in Austria. And that was not only like physically meeting in another place, but also mentally meeting in one common ground, that we could base it somewhere in between all of our thoughts somehow and our backgrounds. We could exchange on one new common ground, not a ground of any of us somehow. And that I felt as important as we also have different like academic backgrounds in a way. Yeah.
But actually, I think it's a very, my question would be maybe to colleagues from other countries, because it seems that many, like for example, experience of me in Poznan, many people come to residency in the beginning because they have at home already known possibility to perform, to produce. While I think in Polish case, such a program is also a great opportunity to work at all, because we don't have many dance spaces and possibilities to work and then to be produced also by many places. So how much this perspective is important and valuable, that this program does not only allow people to move out of their natural context to other country and also enjoy all the specifics of the local place where they go, but also for many people is the only way to produce and to work also, and how much this was or is valuable for the program, that is my question. Because I found it's, for Polish, it's super important, I think.
I'm not sure, we need a time to produce, to make the things, to make the choreographies, and yeah, or just a possibility to show. Sorry.
No, I raise another added value, or important value to the program. That this is not only about moving people around to different cities and making your process important out of your own context. But in Polish situation, for example, for many artists, this is the only way also to work in a decent conditions. Yeah, because they found a place and they get support to go there and work. This is in Polish case very often. Like, for example, the girls, they met somewhere in between, but also they gain the possibility to work.
Yes. Also the same situation in Hungary. So when or she asked me in the interviews what was the most important thing for me about the Visegrad Artist Residency program, I said at first time and safety time and financial frames, and so we had a space to work. We had a space to live somewhere, and we don't have to care our basic needs. We can just focus. We could just focus to our project. So it was very, very important for me and for Esther also, because at home we also have to share ourselves between our things, work. I don't know, other things, mostly work. And in this month we had only one thing, or we had only one task to do, to make our project, and it was kind of a luxury for us also. And while I was sitting here, I just realized something that is so funny for me. Do you see those frames on what surrounded the pictures? Those are recycled ones. And actually from an antique shop from Visegrad, because I'm living at the opposite side of the Danube. So the Visegrad Artist Residency program also was kind of a frame for us. Financial frame on one side, and on another side, we had a very, we had a project, yes, like everybody else here. And it was mainly Esther's part to manage that we should follow that project, and that was another important frame around or surrounded our work. And it was a long time, because for us the residency program came in the middle of the project, because then Esther had 3 solos, 3 dance solos, and after we made 6 more icons. And I think the results won't be that complete if we wouldn't have this opportunity, I think.
Yes. I think it's quite common to work in this way, and residencies all over Europe, not only in Poland or Hungary, but what is really specific is that we don't have to apply for funds from Western countries, and it is really something calming and yeah, kind of. It's also nice to say to the people in the West that we have these residencies that are only for us, because very often this is what we heard, that they have these residencies that are only for them. So it's kind of, and it's really nice to see also that there are projects that involve people from other countries, that it is also possible that that it is open already for this kind of ventures. So I think it's really great.
Marta, you also had this dual relationship, or you have three relationships with the Visegrad Fund. You were a resident, you were also a host, and you were also monitoring part of the program. Who would you encourage? But we have all heard that most of the artists would like to apply again, so it's kind of a proof that it's a great program and a good opportunity. Who would you encourage to apply from young artists or?
As a monitoring partner, I think at the first meeting we had after the first half year, this pilot program, it came up the idea that it's inviting the fact that there is money in it, but not all those artists who were chosen, like until the 2.5 years, there were 22 artists who could work in this program, but not every of them needs this money. And from my point of view, if I would have any connection to the decision maker process, I would choose more those artists who really need not just the financial support, but also the possibility to travel, because there were companies who has their management, who has their ways to find out the directions. Of course, it can happen that maybe that year there were not so many applicants, or there were not enough good quality of the applicant. So it can be also a reason why it happened like this, but I'm really happy in those, if I see those cases where I know the artist, and I'm lucky that also in Poland I know lots of artists, and also in Slovakia and also here in Czech. So my knowledge is bigger and bigger every time. And I'm really happy if I see that an artist who has a direct vision about what he or she wants to do, wants to dig in, and still not have the full-scale possibility to do whatever. So they still have to fight for the chance to be visible. I like when they can get this chance to work. And actually, Magda Tuka is the only exception in that case, that she won already twice the residency, which is great for her, because she could really develop something further and further, even if she chose another topic. But it's also possible, or it also happened that, like in this case, the first pilot year she was on the waiting list, and the next year with the same project she won the possibility. So there is nothing against applying again, and it's, I think in general it really helps the possibility to move. I'm just witnessing why does it happen, and it can be also an open question, I don't want to answer it, that between Slovakia and the Czech there are more connections, and they use more the chance to travel, and between Poland and Hungary. But somehow the other possibilities, somehow they are still not discovered. I don't know if you have any comment on it or not, but I'm just witnessing by watching always the finalist list and these connections working more often than the other ones.
Well, I think that we are still one cultural zone or place, but together with Poland and to Hungary. With Hungary, the problem is the language, of course, but we have Monica, she's very good in Hungarian, so we are lucky for her. And with Poland, for example, I'm partly Polish, so maybe we can go to Poland as well. But the Prague was, in our case, quite a logical step, because we are studying here, or we were studying here, for some part of our artistic study in the university. So we know some people here, and we feel very secure to choose Prague for the first time. So maybe that's the reason.
But I think that in the case of people from Czech Republic and from Slovakia, it is something really well understandable, because we have the same history. we were the same country, so maybe that's the reason why still the relationships between these two countries are strong. So I don't know.
But I think that we are, most of us, we are a mixture, like Visegrad mixture in our families. So I think that everybody of us has some Czech or Slovak or Polish and Hungarian grandma or father, like in my case, or whatever. I have a great parents from Hungary, and my father is Polish. So maybe. Someone else?
Yes. We also went directly to Slovakia. And well, I mean, it's obvious that there is like no language barrier at all. So it's like that thing is easier, a lot easier. And then, but then for us, I don't know, we like the fact that it's a train station. It's just like, yeah, of course we go to train station. It's like, and yeah, I was actually thinking about it. It would be great to explore some more, maybe to go to Poland or Hungary, because then somehow we have to switch a little bit our mentality and try to, because Slovakia is not exotic for us at all. Everything is just like being there somewhere where we have been before, and so maybe it would be like more challenging for us or for anybody else to go to the country where the language is not, or we don't know the language either at all or partially, like Poland. I mean, we certainly can understand a little bit, but in Hungary we are a bit lost, which may be good as well.
That might be inspiring again.
I just want to remind you that at the end of the blue brochure, you find a nice vocabulary. So you can start the process.
But it's not that dangerous, because everybody speaks English in Hungary, so you wouldn't have many language obstacles. But it would be, of course, a different, a more exotic environment than Slovakia, that's for sure. Even though we share a lot, really, culturally and historically, and also the architecture. So it's you will have lots of deja vus, but generally.
I'm ready to go.
And
our case, choosing Hungary was just because we haven't been there. In Slovakia and Czech Republic, we would go to ski or something. Or nightwear for Polish people. And Hungary was
The furthest.
the furthest, the most exotic.
So you wanted to go far away as possible to find your common ground.
No, I think just we get more opportunities as, I don't know, as children. I would go with parents to visit Prague or to Slovakia. It would be much more easy to go than further down to Budapest or to Hungary. And also being a bit more exotic because Slovak language or Czech language and Polish, yeah, we can find some similarities, definitely. And Hungarian is like a sign language. Yeah.
If I can answer also the other part of your question, as an artist to take part in this program, who I would recommend this residence program at all. It was also part of the interview actually, so we all had to think about it. I really could recommend this residency to those artists, even like, let's say, but I don't like so much this word, emerging artists, who are just upcoming, but also to those who I feel that it's important to have something in the mind and to be able to put it on the paper. So a concept of what he or she would like to create alone or in a group case, it's important to have. So this means that creativity, idea, and also it is good if the one has, if the one feels that it's challenging to travel away and to really focus on what they want to do. But as I told you, for me this residency gives really the chance to discover without any pressure. And this is important because I was also a resident artist in different cases, and I could enjoy mainly those cases when I was not forced to whatever. So I was not forced to make a final piece or make a final presentation or an in-between presentation, or so where I felt that I have the chance as an adult artist to think about what I'm looking for. And sometimes it happens that the fact of the research is more important than a final production. And like I think with Martina and Gaia was my first experience in this program, that they told me that they don't want to make a performance, mainly never, because this whole process is for them important, and then we try to find out what can be at least a little bit the visibility of this residency, and then they came up with this workshop situation and also to present the work. And as far as I see, you also use this structure later on in different countries, and I really liked. Also, as an artist, I appreciated it that the other artists can choose this possibility, not to make a final work, not to force themselves to make a final presentation. I have to tell you, I enjoy mostly those cases when there is no final product at the end. Although now I'm talking against myself because we have a piece which actually we even made a work in progress presentation in Bratislava because we have spent there at the Eldan studio some time. But still I really can enjoy when an artist is open for such possibilities. I think this is mainly the most inspiring way to think also on the other artist, what she or he does.
But most of the performers who were participating here at the Biennale did have that in mind, that they want to create a performance. So it's usually, they do want to create, it's just a matter of time when it's going to be ready, and the VARP-PA program doesn't put the pressure on the artists to be ready when they are ready with the residency. So that's really good. And then later, if the tradition of the Biennale can go on, which we really hope, and we will meet in 2 years in another city, and hopefully in Poznan, and we're going to see those performances which were made in the coming 2 years. So it will be indeed visible like a festival, that these artists did create their performances. It was just a matter of time, but they were ready. No, Marta? But yeah, and we also hope that the success of the Biennale is going to be convincing enough for the Visegrad Fund that they should support this, and it's a great opportunity also for the artists to meet, because they travel to different host organizations, different countries, but they don't see the other artists who are participating in the residency program. And maybe this is the first time that you get to meet the people who had similar experiences like you had before. And you can exchange and share and also make new contacts, because there are also lots of opportunities to work together and apply for grants within the Visegrad countries that you probably know. And another thing is, Marta said, yeah, it's not really about the money, but in Hungary we have such harsh conditions right now that actually the funding is really crucial for an artist. So it's a very bad situation, and the Visegrad Fund has got a unique position right now in the whole region, but it's especially in Hungary, it's like life-saving to have the Visegrad Fund right now. But Marta can tell us about this.
Well, now we are at the moment. The only chance to organize this Biennale was this Visegrad standard grant. Otherwise, we would have been not able to invite artists from Turkey and who were working with a Slovak girl. Yeah, I think it's, as you were talking about it, it's important to have a support which we can count with. But maybe it's also, we were talking about it with Joanna and Barbara as well before we started the Biennale, that maybe for you artists it would be also good to know in advance that you can plan that you will be able to be visible on the Biennale with the work, what you are working on, and maybe you didn't make any presentation during the residency, but there is a goal to come together on the Biennale. And actually, while you were talking, I had a great idea. I like this idea, but you can say it's a stupid thing. Next time, as we will be in Poznan, we should organize a cooking together, because I feel that during the residencies, most of the time people were cooking and eating together, which is a really good way of mingling and still talking about the work, but on a different way. And if I can say a critique as one of the organizers of now, today or these days happening event, that I missed the chance to really get together and talk, because everybody is busy with their performance, and now we are together, but half of the team is out because they are leaving, and actually when an artist is coming from the same country where we are, then it's harder, because they have the everyday life. They are running their everyday life as usually, so So yeah, let's cook together next time. I think it could open again one more door. I don't know if because this discussion, the idea of this discussion was originally to share our experiences. And of course we recorded, thanks now to Veronica. And it would be lovely also to share the not just the practical information about the residencies, but also to promote in a way for those artists or even to hosts this possibility who didn't know about it. If you have any comment on this, or I don't know how you feel about how your residency happened. If you have anything to share.
Maybe there is one thing that if you had the chance to read the interview with Danuta Karikova from the IVF, there was one thing that she noted from already the 3 years experience of this program, that it's very crucial that an artist could write an application. So you have to be able to sell your project to the IVF and also to other funds and organizations. But you already had successful applications, so you probably are already trained how to write an application, but it's not. It's also probably very typical for Eastern Europe, for our part of Europe, that an artist has to be first an artist and then his own or her own manager and I don't know, company manager. What do you say about this, Marta? You are also doing both at the same time. You are artist, you are an association leader, and you try to promote also many other artists. How can you help them to have a successful application for the Visegrad Fund?
I don't have the right key to this. I'm also just trying things out, and somehow in my imagination I would like to imagine such an artistic not cooperation but net, where the artists they still have time to watch each other and to talk to each other, and I'm just looking for these possibilities, and one of these activities is the writing application. But this is, to me personally, I think it's much more important. But yes, leading an association, it's also a work, and all of the members are volunteering in this because we think it's a good thing to get together and either through this program or through another activity, just to somehow share the experiences and to exchange on a way, or just to touch each other. Like today at the lecture workshop, possibility gave us the chance to touch each other. It's so nice.
Sorry, I have an idea. Maybe that could help. I don't know if it's need I use. I don't know if that's possible or not, but I think all of us has that successful. What is that? You know, the sheets. A pályázati anyag. Hogy van? The application, yes. What was successful. So maybe if it could be public, for example, so how you make this application, or Esther and me, or somebody, if there would be a forum on the internet where we can upload it, maybe that would be nice. So I don't know the form, because
For example, in our group, Esther made the main thing, the basic thing in Word, the informations and her CV and the project line by line. And also I put there into my CV too. And after I made the design for it, because I'm also a graphic designer, and there were a lot of photos. It was so detailed, I think. I know just our application, but maybe that would be nice if we could share that with each other.
It's a great idea, I think, because the artists can learn from each other.
And it's not a secret anymore, so.
Yeah, it's not top secret, yes. And most of you are also part of some organizations or associations, which are also, like, when the last time that Philip was in Poznan also, so I think he also had to learn from your experience, or some kind. You gave him some kind of advice for his application, did you? But we are talking with each other all the time, so let's talk with somebody else. You are not independent artists, but you have an artist organization, a young artist organization. How was it different from all the other applications that you have to write? Is it easy to find funding for a young organization, or do you feel that the Visegrad program, the VARP-PA program, was more open to support you as young artists or young organization?
First of all, I need to say that we formed our group around this performance. It was a really nice situation because forming of our group is interconnected with your grant, and we started as a group with this performance, which you could see yesterday. So for us it was really important, it was really crucial that we got this grant, and I don't know if it is easy or not. I think that we have the same situation in our countries when we are independent group and we are trying to ask for money, we are trying to ask for space where we can create something. So I think that everybody of us has quite same feelings and quite same experiences, but in my opinion, it was really great when we got grant and we applied for another grant possibilities. And when they saw that Visegrad fund is standing behind us, it was something like guarantee that, okay, we believe that you are doing something, that you will create something, or you will try to find your way in culture, in art. So, okay, we will support you. So I think that we have this type of experience.
And if I can say something. We prepared this grant together with the dramaturgist Marek Turušík. He needs to left. But I think that this grant was the better one. Not just because it's IYF, but also because the money, this money is free. I mean, you can do with this kind of money, with the rest of the money, whatever you want. And if you are searching for something, you need not just the travel costs or another fees, but also you need to use material. And it's very possible that the first one, it would be not the last one. So you need more and more money. And for example, we applied also in the Ministry of Culture, but there is every single euro cent you need to count exactly to something in particular. So we needed very much to have this money, like just free some of this money to cover another cost in the process. So that's why this was also the very, very good, good to have. Thank you.
Thank you very much for everybody. It was also nice to hear that the fund also opened some new doors for you. So it can be also a long term when you apply for the next fund somewhere, that seeing that you have already received Visegrad a VARP-PA Residency, that it's going to be a positive comment or something that would inspire other organizations to support your work. So it was lovely to talk to you, and thanks for participating in this discussion. And we're going to get to the next venue of the Biennial, and we're going to spend this evening together, and then we hope to keep in touch and stay in contact, also to share some experiences, but we also really hope that you are going to read our work and read the reviews of your performances, and see you around this evening and on the party with Tomasz.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.